Oh, happy Tuesday, friends. Long time no see.
I know, long time no see.
Long time no see. Oh, we've got Jennifer jumping on. Or it might be some. There she is. Hi. Hi,
Hello.
Kara. Nice to see you again. Haven't seen you in a while.
I know the sickness got me. It's not
Oh,
the COVID, but
no.
it's like the flu, whatever is going
Yeah.
around.
Girl, I feel you. It's been the plague at this house. That's all we're calling it is the plague at this point. I don't know what else to call it.
Fair, fair. But we're back, and that's what matters more.
Oh, so nice to see your
Good to
face.
see you.
Nice to see you. All right, Tiffany, you ready to jump right into it and do our review of session 7? And remember, friends, if you were sick, if you were out, you can always replay the last sessions, but the book follows along because we're following the book.
Yes. And guess what? This is our last session.
This is our last session. This is our big bang and our wrap up. And we're excited to see what you do with this as we head into the new year because 2023 is right there. It's right there.
Absolutely. All right. Brooke, anything you want to share from what we've learned so far that you've absolutely loved?
I think one of the biggest things is just understanding that it is actually the smallest thing that is often the one that produces the biggest amount of change. That lead domino is huge. That lead domino, we always think it's this huge thing, but really it's the smallest domino to knock everything over. And I think when you get clarity on that, it's freeing. Smaller steps lead to bigger goals being hit, and then celebrating them along the way was so important when we talked about that as well. So that was mine. What was yours?
Well, I'll say, like, no matter what class you're in, looking at it from the view of the one thing, right? So if you took a class that was action-based lead generation, what was that one thing that you heard that you're absolutely going to take action on and move it to the finish line?
Right. It's one thing. We just say be 1% better every day. One. We're not saying take everything you learn from class and change everything you know. Small steps lead to big things. Small changes have large impact into obtaining your big goals and your big whys.
Yeah. And Jay Papasan did it's funny because, like, everything I listen to now, he did in October the 20%er. And for those that do not know what the 20%er is, just go to 20percenter.com, 20 spelt out as a word. And he sends out an email like once a week, once a month, somewhere around there. And it's literally a 4-minute read that you just look at and you're like, okay. And Brooke and I really have taken the time to talk about that and figure out, as we count down to 2023 and we look at the one thing in our goals, what did we accomplish? What didn't we accomplish? What should we be accomplishing? And great way to end the year by doing this journey into the one thing.
Yeah, and I think now is the time to actually set those goals, right? We shouldn't wait to January 1st. If you're waiting to January 1st, you're already behind. Do it now, right, Karina? Do it now. We talked about it this morning. Often rip the Band-Aid off and do it. Get an accountability partner. I put the link for that in the chat too for the 20%er. It's a great email that comes in with such amazing tidbits from Jay
Great size, easy, manageable, and do it now action items. It's awesome. All right, I'm going to share my screen. We're going to go to it. Here we go.
Guys, because we are smaller crews for this, please raise your hand, come off mute, ask us questions, interact. It's sometimes we miss when we're presenting on the screen. We sometimes can't see you flagging us down.
All right. So today we're going to talk about the 3 commitments, the 4 thieves, and then the journey on where we go. And then that's the end of the book. So nobody who ever gave his best regretted it. I was like, ooh, that's actually a good statement, right? Because how many times have we regretted something? And when we look at that regret, was it because we didn't do our best? 99% of the time it was, absolutely. So the 3 commitments to your one thing, and I had to laugh when I read this because what is this from?
6PP.
right? So follow the path of mastery, move from E to P, and live the accountability cycle, right? So when we look at the first one, follow the path of mastery. So how many hours does it take to become a master? Who knows?
Agree.
How many hours?
10,000.
100?
10,000.
Somebody said it. I heard it.
10,000.
10,000 hours. 10,000 hours makes you a master, right? More than anything else, the masters track the time, right? We used Michael Phelps was the example, right? What was the one thing that he did to set himself apart from everybody else? He actually was in the pool 7 days a week, right? And the pursuit of mastery gives gifts, right? So at the end of the day, when you're sitting here and you're doing the work, you're getting little bite-sized wins. And we don't celebrate those small wins enough. Would you say we celebrate small wins?
I don't think we do enough, and I think that's why some of our agents, we feel that burnout. We are solo entrepreneurs. Many of us are in this on our own. We don't have admins. We don't have partners at work. And the only time we give ourselves a pat on the back is when we get that cap, or when we ring the bell when a deal closes. We're not celebrating all the in-betweens and all the
Right.
things that got us to the goals.
Absolutely. So then we went into the second, which was move from E to P. And so I got licensed in 99 in Maine. I joined KW in 2013. I learned about E to P when one of the first classes that I took at KW. And I was like, that's what that is. That's that ceiling that I keep banging my head against. And I'm like, bang down, right? Like, who's had that experience where they've tried to work towards something and they've hit the ceiling?
Yeah, I think we all have. And E to P is entrepreneurial to purposeful.
Right.
I
There's
can't
lots
spell.
of entrepreneurials. I know, I'm not even going to go there.
No.
There's a lot of entrepreneurial folks out there. But when you move to purposeful, what does your world look like? Who can share a time when they went from entrepreneurial to purposeful and it changed their world? This is the interactive part.
So, hi, I'm Brianna.
Hi, Brianna.
I probably started this backwards. This is my first day.
That's okay. We could get you the
Um,
recording.
But yeah, I actually just gave my resignation yesterday. I'm a director of behavioral health services for a company that specializes in correctional healthcare. So it was kind of a big departure, big conversation. So I'm kind of in that limbo period, if you will. So here I am.
Well, we're glad
And
you're here.
Yes, that's
Thank
awesome.
you. Yeah, so the feelings are real, but the excitement is, the one that's really overcoming it all. So I'm excited to be here and start this journey.
Awesome. Congratulations. Very
Thanks.
cool. Hey, Brooke, give me an E example in your world.
Ooh, God, pick one.
Just one.
I think when it came to learning the different ways leader speaks, I came into this world as a leader in a different type of realm, and I wasn't a trained leader, and I learned that fast. And in order to get myself to a very different place, it was going to take coaching and classes and actually the doing of things before I got to a place where I felt comfortable in my role. Those things weren't provided in my previous life when I wasn't with KW. And it took a coach to really slap me around to make me see how the things I had done for so long that I thought were helpful and doing these things were actually hurting the people I was supporting instead of helping me build a bigger world around me. So it was eye-opening. That coach took me to purposeful.
Right. And, I've run leadership since 2013, and 2018, I decided to get back into real estate. And agents are not all, some agents are very entrepreneurial when it comes to their lead generation. Well, when I got into business in 2018 and got back into, I knew I needed to go purposeful. So my lead generation is where I live purposeful. I dialed 3,000 dials. I talked to 850 people. I listed 27 properties. I closed 30, right? That was being very purposeful in the lead generation to see the results. And that's the difference between entrepreneurial and purposeful, because entrepreneurial Tiffany would have dialed here, dialed there, and everywhere. And the purposeful was, how do I hit those numbers, right? So anyone just getting started or in it and just trying to figure out where in your world should you move to purposeful and who should support you there, right?
Right.
Because that ceiling, man, I probably, like, I laugh at the first picture because I probably did that 10,000 times. Like, I should have like a very flat head because of all the times that I've hit that ceiling and bounced back down. And now, being purposeful, like the focus. In my example, what was I focused on? I was focused on the dials. What models did I use? I had systems. I called expireds. I called for sale by owners. I had circle prospecting. What models? I followed the KW models in the conversations. And when I had a breakthrough, I actually walked through the journey of what did that breakthrough look like? And where was it done well, and where could I have done it better? So this purposeful is not only following the system, but it's giving a diagnostic of where you are in your business.
And it's what you're doing that's uncomfortable. That uncomfortable and what's unnatural to you. So when I went from E to P and the situation I talked about, it was learning to ask different questions and stop actually solving the problems and helping people solve their own problems.
Right.
And that hurt as someone who is, I consider myself a problem solver, but I wasn't helping those around me. And that was very unnatural and very outside of my comfort zone and my personality. So becoming purposeful hurt for a little bit until I saw the outcomes, because evaluations and all these things were part of that system of becoming purposeful.
Absolutely. So then we have our third, live the accountability cycle, right? Knowing your numbers. How do you record them, right? I'm all about having a piece of paper, and I do it really simple. I have a notebook. I put a slash if I made the call. I put an X if I talked to them. I put a circle if I landed the appointment, right? Like whatever it looks like for you. And that was like my simple system. And now there's technology, and yet I still like my pen and paper. Who is going to hold you accountable? It is not a family member, unless they don't like you, because family members who like you, they really seriously, don't laugh at me.
True. It's
Family
true.
members that like you, what do? They make
Yeah,
you
oh, it's
feel like,
okay.
oh, it's okay. I'm
It's
sorry
okay.
you didn't hit your goal. You'll do it tomorrow.
You're the smartest kid I have. Yeah, my mom is not going to be my accountability partner, nor can you be your own accountability partner. You will fail yourself.
Right. It's the person who gives you that look.
Yeah, it's Tiffany and Jen for me. You know what I mean? Like, it's
The look. Like,
It's the
because
look.
I don't even need to give words. Like, that's what I love about Zoom. Zoom has been the best thing with coaching, because somebody tells me something and I just give them the look and they're like, okay, I don't even need to use words, just the look. So the most important difference between amateurs and elite performers is they have coaches and they have teachers and they have accountability partners. So if you don't have that person in your life, who can you reach out to help you, support you, and get you one if you need one? There are plenty of us out there that love to give accountability. So here is your accountability chart, right? Accountability and victim. No one on this call is a victim, and yet we all have once in a while fallen down the road of victim, right? There's the wants and hopes. There's the personal excuses. I can give personal excuses. There's blaming, right? There's avoiding the reality, gets on with it, finds solutions, owns it, acknowledges reality, seeks reality. That's the accountability, right? If not me, then who? If not now, then when, right? So accountability really makes it happen. And life does happen. It's how quickly you get back to what your goals and dreams are that separates the victim and the accountability person. That makes
Somebody
sense.
send this to my older kids. I'd appreciate that. My 18-year-old and my 21. I would love for this and highlight anything that has to do with victim mode. I would love that, please.
Yeah. Well, and what I love about like everything's intertwined, right? It's not rocket science. You go to the 6 personal perspectives class, they talk about these 3 items. You do the one thing, they talk about these, like everywhere you go. So if it keeps bumping you on the head, it's kind of important that you pay attention to it. All right. And then the main points of this is commit to be your best, right? How do you become the best that you can become? Be purposeful about your one thing, take ownership of your outcomes, and find a coach. No matter where you are in your business, you have a productivity coach, you have, your growth coaches, you have MAPS coaching with mastery and breakthrough. There are plenty of opportunities to be coached. And if you need support, again, Brooke and I can give you some leads on who you should talk to.
Mm-hmm.
And then your action. Once you figure out what your goals are, time block them. What do we do, Brooke? I feel like this is the word that you get tattooed.
Oh, time block, but protect your lead gen time. I have passive aggressive signs if you need them that say lead gen in progress, come back later. You can tape it to your head, your shirt, your door in high. If you figure out exactly where you're sitting so you can't see the people at the window. I even have a laminated one in my car. So when I'm in my car doing lead gen, if my husband comes out, I can just hold up the laminated sign and be like, not today, sir. And you've got to protect your time. Because if you do not protect your lead gen time, you have nothing else in the pipeline to worry about.
Right.
Protect
And then
it.
it says, how do you avoid being hijacked? Who on this call has ever been hijacked?
Who on this call is a hijacker?
Corinna, how have you been hijacked?
Going into the office to lead generate, that's definitely hijacking. People hijack me and I will hijack people.
Absolutely.
So that's my big thing. So if I ever go into the office, I have to sit in one of those little phone booths that we have in our office. It works for maybe an hour.
Yep.
But yeah, my big mistake is going into the office.
Well, you know what's interesting is what if you were consistently in the office instead of just tapping in when you're in the area? I think sometimes that's the difference too. When you have your own space, when all your own stuff is there, when you can put your back to people and just go head down, it can make a difference. But when you're not in your space, it's not your stuff. It's not where you're comfortable. You're not building a bunker around you. You don't have your snacks, your favorite pen, your cat.
Yeah.
My cat, yes.
We had our mini refrigerator in our office, like mini refrigerator. We had a basket full of snacks. We had locks on the door.
Yep.
Right.
Build a
And
moat.
yeah, eventually folks knew not to knock on the door when it was locked. And give yourself that 15-minute walk through the office to get that energy. I'm not a huge eye human. However, there are people in my life that I know love to talk to people. And those people, they can walk around the building, have those 15-minute phone call, those 15-minute conversations and get right back at it, right? So balance it out. I wasn't talking.
I'm never going to live that one time down, you guys.
I wanted to go to sleep, just for the record. So then there's the 4 thieves, right? The focus is a matter of deciding what things you are not going to do. It's not focusing on what things you are going to do. It's focusing on what things are you not going to do. So working from home, I have 4 loads of laundry that I need to wash.
No,
Right?
no, you're
The
not.
car needs gas.
No,
There's dishes in the sink.
you've got a Sasquatch that can do those.
So those things get put on the back and have gotten really good. 3 years ago, I would not have been able to start my lead generation until the dishes are done. Now there are dishes in my sink and I'll do them after I'm done with my job.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So what are the four thieves? The inability to say no. Who cannot say no to another human? Sometimes. The fear of chaos. I don't have that problem. I love to live in chaos.
I'm a chaos creator and collaborator in
Yeah.
I am and it's but fear of chaos is we've talked about this on a past call, and I think when the whites were on, it's the chaos when you leave your workspace. It's the lack of leverage. It's the fear of the unknown or the what ifs that can lead to chaos. Chaos is different for everyone. My husband is that person that he'll work a 24-hour, come home, if there's 2 dishes in the sink, do it because he can't stand it. Whereas I'm the dishes will be there, my kids will not be.
Right?
Walk away.
Yeah. Poor health habits.
Have
I
you
am
had lunch?
hugely guilty of that one.
How many of you took a lunch break today where you didn't do anything for work for 15, 20? Yeah, people shut their cameras off when I ask this all the time, or that was just perfect timing, Brianna. Miss Tiffany Hampton is a perfect person when it comes to not taking a break for lunch.
Yeah. That's my one thing with my coach right now is I have to send a picture. And when I fall off, he sends me a text. And I pay him a lot of money for that text.
Right? But that stuff all trickles in, right? If you don't feel good, right? Like I've been battling a cold for the last few weeks. I see it in everything that's happening in my world, whether it's my family or my professional life. I don't love some of the work I'm putting out. And then I look back and I'm like, were you in a NyQuil coma when you created that? Like, what is going on? But some of those things, that's the chaos part of it. That's out of my scope of control.
And then you have the environment doesn't support your goals, right? So the inability to say no. When you say yes to something, it's imperative that you understand what you're saying no to, right? And honestly, what I loved about this chapter in this one section was literally he was like, how many times can you say no before you say yes? Right? It's not really saying yes, it's really saying no, and the yes will come, right? And you can't please everyone. Don't try. It doesn't happen.
There's no way. There's no way you can.
And requests must be connected to your one thing or you can't even consider it. So when that person knocks on your door and says, hey, can we talk about X? And it has nothing to do with what you're supposed to be doing at that moment in time. Yes, I'd love to talk to you about that. Can we do that at 3 or 4 o'clock? Or this person down the hall would love to help you with that. Go reach out to them.
Go
right?
see Tiffany. She'll help you.
And then the fear of chaos. Chaos is always going to show up, period. Just get used to it. It's the counterbalance balance conversation, right? It's just the way it is. If there's not enough chaos in your life, you're not living to the level that you could potentially live. So go out there and make some huge chaos.
If anybody has kids, can you imagine having a family without the chaos?
Yep.
That's boring.
Like a 2-year-old, just bring a 2-year-old in your world. I did for the weekend. Bring a 2-year-old in. So high achievement and extraordinary results require big energy. Have breakfast.
Have breaks.
Eat lunch.
Take care of yourself. You've had a headache for 6 days. Day 7, day 3, you probably should have done something about it. But if we're not drinking water, if we're not committed to our own personal spiritual health, that stuff, the good and the bad, gets pulled through your day, right? It's behind you in the backpack as you're trucking through the day. And what's going to sustain you? Positive energy and good health habits, or poor energy and poor health habits? It's all intertwined. And I always think of this, and we talk about this on a couple of our calls, Tiffany, where it's like, would we treat our children or
The way we treat
anybody under
ourselves?
the age of 7 the way we treat ourselves? We probably wouldn't. Would you say to a kid, God, you're so stupid for not being able to write the letter A? God, God, what do you mean you can't tie your shoe? You gonna live on Velcro your whole life?
Well, and think about that. How many times, and I'm in the coaching world, you're in the tech world, Brooke, how many times have we heard, I don't know how to do that?
Oh, I'm not tech savvy. I'm not tech savvy. I'm not
Yeah.
tech savvy.
Well, and did you know how to walk before you knew how to walk?
I mean,
And
we're all mega minds. And we can do all
when
these.
we think about it in this scenario, did we learn how to walk overnight?
Mm-mm.
We had to take action, right? So when we're looking at that stuff, take action. All right.
And find the people around you that pull that energy in.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, my favorite, and I can't remember, I think it was Mega Camp, Gary Keller said on stage, he's like, my day is done at noon. Anything I do after noon is extra. And then he added on, these days it's 2:00, but literally from the time he opens his eyes until noon, he is only focused on his one thing. And this energy plan, this is his energy plan, right? It's in the MREA book. It's in the One Thing book. Like it's in 6 PPs. Everywhere you look, there's this energy plan. All of this stuff gets done before noon. His day is complete. And now we can move on. How many of you have a morning ritual?
Oh, my savers. I love them.
When you don't complete your morning ritual, how does your day go?
You shouldn't even look at me. It's funny because for someone, I've always been someone who loves a flexible routine. I crave routine, but when I don't do these things, and if you don't know what savers are, it follows this pretty much, but it throws me for the day. It absolutely throws me.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, you meditate, you eat right, you exercise, you sleep, and we should be getting 8 hours, 7 to 8 hours. This sleeping for 3 to 4 hours is not where it's supposed to be. You set goals, you plan your calendar for mental energy, and then you time block your one thing and you make it happen.
Hold on, can you go back to number 4 and read it out loud so it's cemented?
Set goals, plan, and calendar for mental energy.
Mental energy. That is taking breaks.
And then you time block your one thing for business. All of that happens before noon. And let's just, I feel like I have no idea what call. Oh, I know. It was a call this morning at 10 o'clock I was on. And someone said, well, if I do my lead generation, that's when everybody else does their lead generation. So I'm just bothering them and bothering them. So why would I do my lead generation during that time? I should pick a different time. Now, how many limiting beliefs were in that statement? Right? Because here's the deal. Should all agents be doing their lead generation between 9 and 11? Do all of us do our lead generation between 9 and 11?
Consistently.
And here, why do we not do that? What are all the reasons? Let me hear. What are the reasons why we do not? This is your turn.
Ooh, we got some people talking, but they're on mute. I can see them right now.
Nobody's got it?
Can tell you one of the. Go ahead, Kara.
I feel like a common one, like it always goes back to like your environment. So oftentimes if I'm working from home, it's because I have things like laundry and cleaning and meal prep to do. So that's where self-sabotage comes in and says, okay, well, you have to do these things because laundry's been sitting there for a couple days now and you're not going to have food, so you'll have to order out. So that's what come in and like take precedence and be like, oh, I can lead gen either during that time while I'm cooking, and then it never happens.
And why does it happen? What's the reason why it doesn't happen? What happens to your energy?
My energy goes towards all the other things that I need to do, but not that I set time to do. So I
And
feel
what
that
happens to your motivation?
it's not there. I'll be like, well, I did this thing and I feel good that I did one thing for myself that's laundry or cooking or cleaning, but I didn't do the thing that I told myself I would do. I just did what I felt like I should do.
How many of you think you're bothering somebody if you call them between 9 and 11? Marion, you're on mute.
I think the reason why I choose when I'm working, when I'm home and multitasking, if I don't have my mindset, I choose easy things just to take care of, like laundry or cooking or making something good for me or go for a walk. Because the timing that it comes for lead generation is kind of like, it's not easy. It's not easy. So we have tendency just to go for the easy things. Now, if from 9 to 11, I will do like maybe 15 minutes each phone call. That's an average. And then I will do probably 4 phone calls in an hour. So times 3 hours. So that would be 12 phone calls that I will do from 9 to 11.
Yep. And here's my thing. My answer to that is you can do easy now or hard now, right? If you do easy now, you're going to do hard later. And hard later looks like I'm 60 years old and not ready for retirement because I chose easy now, right? Like, and that's just an example. Corinna.
Well, my coaches started me doing like triggers because we realized that things trigger you to do other things. So like Pavlov's dogs, you ring the bell and they, would salivate. Well, I have an alarm on my phone that's a crazy, annoying alarm that goes off at 9 o'clock. And that means that's it. I don't care what it is you're doing, girl, get on the phone. And that's basically what that does. And it's amazing how it does work. And I am starting to realize that there is something wrong with me because my dishes could be in the sink, my laundry could be all over the house, but if that alarm goes off, I'm on
That's
the
me.
phone.
I'm programmed like that too. I can leave a wake of chaos behind me to get to the things I have to do and close the door because I know that that's always going to be there. Those things are, and there's somebody else in my world that can do those things. Trust me, and I know that. And I think it just gets to a place of, as agents too, we don't have our own. There's nobody punching our clock and looking at it. There's no time card. So we get these loosey goosey. Well, I'll do it in an hour. Well, guess what? 3 hours goes by because those time blocks for the one thing, poof, gone at that point.
Absolutely. 100%. And then our last thief is your environment doesn't support your goals, right? No one succeeds alone and no one fails alone. Pay attention to the people around you. So who are you hanging out with? Are you hanging out with folks that are where you want to be in 5 years? Or are you hanging out with folks that are at the same level you are, or even maybe lower level than you are, right? Who are your top people that you're spending time with? And then what are you doing consistently, right? So I love that. At 9 o'clock, my alarm clock goes off. It's obnoxious and I don't care where I am. I turn off the faucet, the dishes will sit and I'm going to go lead generate. That is amazing discipline. And did it happen day one? Right? It didn't happen day one.
It didn't happen day one. If it's not in my calendar, it doesn't get done. However, you can put lead generation in your calendar, but it's funny because you can be blind to it. And it's in your calendar.
Yeah.
But you could be blind to it. But
100%.
What's that?
100%. I have a friend who has all of her stuff in her calendar and she's like, it's just background noise.
Exactly. And that's why, my coach is like, maybe we should try a sound thing.
Yeah.
So this sound goes off, but then like, I'm on the traffic committee here in Attleboro, and we have these flashing signs. Well, they're good for a while, but then they become background noise.
You do.
So one day my alarm will not be that background noise that I can't like put off, and I'll have to change it.
That's because you've hit a ceiling.
Yeah, saturation point.
Exactly.
Saturation point, and you can't go any further.
Yep.
And this was a really hard thing to learn about who we're surrounded by. I think I've shared it with you guys on one of the one things and in past things, that it's the people in my world didn't understand my drive, my goals, and my need to do better, because I grew up in a community where you got married out of high school, maybe you went to college, maybe you didn't, you stayed in the same career for 30 years, you retired, you had one house, and I was surrounded by people and grew up with people and friends that was it. And that was the biggest scope of their thinking is find a wife, find a husband, settle down, have kids. Doesn't matter how miserable you are, be grateful you have a job. And while I loved my friends, there had to be a point where I pulled back, because they're not having goals was bringing me down, and I wasn't living to my full potential. So they're still a part of my life, just in a very different, separate part of my life, because I needed to surround myself with people who have the same energy and wants and desires to just continue to grow.
Yep. And that's a great segue to the triangle, right? What's your one thing? People and place. So you made it a choice of who are the people and who are the place. Not to say that those people aren't part of your life or part of your world, just that at this moment in time, they need to be on a different triangle. 100%. Yeah. All right. So time blocking is a way of making sure that what has to be done gets done. And if you're like Corinna or I, we need to walk away from the calendar and use the alarm on our phone and put obnoxious sounds for the alarm. So at 9 o'clock, the alarm goes off. It says lead generation, and it's a song that I can't stand and I can't wait to turn off, right? At 11:30, 12 o'clock, I am scheduling lunch, because that's one habit that I'm working on getting into, and I don't want to eat lunch at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So what does that look like, right? If disproportionate results come from one activity, then you must give disproportionate time to that one activity, right? So if lead generation and making phone calls will get you to your goal, how much time should it get? Right? Resting is as important as work. So I had a coach who told me I should spend 20 minutes outside in nature. Go take a 20-minute, sit in the sun, you don't have to exercise those 20 minutes outside. You just got to get 20 minutes of nature and energy from the world into you. And then block the times as early in the day as you possibly can. We all know that you wake up, you're ready to go, you're motivated. Even if some of us, we need to sit in bed for 45 minutes and get the motivation to get out of bed. Once you are up and going, you're going, right? And then the ideas from this chapter was start saying no, accept chaos, manage your energy, and take ownership of your environment, right? Because we are truly in control of what happens in our world. And when we give up the control through these things, that's when we lose the opportunity. And our take action is live with purpose. And this is the whole book. It's the three parts, right? Live with purpose, live by priority, and live for productivity, right? Because I don't know about you, when I die, my goal is for people to remember where I left an impact in their world, right? It wasn't about the dishes in the sink. It wasn't about how many hours I worked. It was about, because of what I desired to do in life, I made massive change in the people that I care and love about, right? And that's what this whole journey is all about. And the journey. I did not do that on purpose. So it says to get through the hardest journey, we need to take only one step at a time, but we must keep on stepping.
And you know, Tiffany, the journey is the funnest part. It really is. Hitting that, the reward, it feels like a reward. Those steps you're taking, I love the pain of growing and learning and stretching in my role as a mom, as a spouse, as a friend. And because when we get there, I mean, think of small things outside of being an agent. Last year, I hyped my daughter up for a month and a half going to Disney. And she thought she was holding a countdown sign to Thanksgiving because she couldn't read. It was amazing. We enjoyed the journey of doing that and those pictures every day more than actually telling her, because it was super anticlimactic. She was so exhausted when we told her when we were getting on a plane the day after Thanksgiving. But it was the journey of getting her there. And that's such a silly side story, but the memories of that, holding that sign every day, and the pictures are the best. And I've been reliving them for the last 8 days as they were popping up on Facebook and now on my Disney pics.
Yeah,
But
I
it's
know.
the journey.
It's the journey. Yeah, because I will tell you, the Disney trip, the excitement before the Disney trip was so much better than the Disney trip. The Disney trip was great for the kiddos, but the excitement of their journey to get there was fantastic. Getting there was exhausting.
Yep.
All right. So at any moment in time, there can only be one thing. You always want to be able to say, I'm glad I did it, not I wish I had. How many of you have I wish I had moments in life, right? A life worth living might be measured in many ways, but the one way that stands above all others is living a life with no regrets. And Mark Twain said, and I love this, 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things that you didn't do than by the ones you did do. So throw off the bowliness, right? Sail away from the safe harbor. Oh, bow lines. Bow lines, right?
Bow?
Bow
I don't
lines.
know. I'm not a
I
bow
was like, what the
person.
heck is that word? Sail away from the safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sails, explore, dream, and discover. Because at the end of the day, we only get one shot at this life, and we only get one shot at impacting the world. So put the work together, right? We know what the 7 circles are. We went through those 7 circles. And Brianna, get the book, read the book, do 2 chapters at a time, take notes, watch the videos of Brooke and I. We try to make it fun, because at the end of the day, if you just implement this book in those 7 circles, which are on page 114, every aspect of your life will be what you desire it to be. It will be a journey. It will not always be easy, and yet you will be that much closer. Any thoughts on our closing thoughts of this lovely, one of my favorite books?
I just love it. I just love how easy it seems. Because remember, we've talked about it. Just because things are simple doesn't mean they're easy. And it's one small step forward. It's pouring into yourselves. You deserve this. And I think that's one of the things to remember too, is we deserve to take the time to grow, to plan, to hit those goals, and to celebrate all the goals. And it's time.
Absolutely. All right. What's one action or one thing you've heard over these weeks?
That you're going to put into play. One thing.
Don't all speak at once.
I know.
I really love the sound alarm for lead gen. Like, Karina, I'm really gonna take that because I need it to be like obnoxious and in my face, and I'm not gonna like it. So I'm like, okay, that's my time. So that's something huge, but just the overall, like, going back to your why, your big why, and how that's gonna ripple out into the people and the places that you're in. It's huge.
Jill put in, don't interrupt a time block morning. I'm going to take that alarm clock item too. Like, because that will disrupt, because it's a disruptor, right? How do you disrupt a habit? That right there. Marion.
Okay. Yeah, I've been having a hard time blocking the time, like in the morning. I don't know when is the right time to call, to start working on my lead generation. Like I heard in the meeting saying like eat the frog early, right? So I think that's the best time that I'm gonna do. I did it like a noon time, but I can't do that at noon time. So I've been having a hard time doing that. I've been following the scripts and then pivot shifts and then the early birds. And I've been practicing on my scripts on sell by owners. So I think that's gonna be my how I'm gonna target. I have a very nice data that I have, and also I have just to work on that. But since I'm a dual career, I've been I don't know, I feel like I have to take a vacation to, keep digging on this and or just block my time or.
Well, as a dual career, where can you implement 2 hours a day in lead generation, right? Because at this point, just do it. Here's the deal. If they don't answer the phone, you're either going to leave a message or send them a text. And then they'll respond when they can respond, right? If you don't call them at all, there's no opportunity for a two-way conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also I have a very, like I said, very large data that actually someone shared that with me. And I was like, how I'm going to call those people because they don't know me. They don't know me, but they know the person that I got the information that's what you showed me the other day, actually how to upload that data. So in that case, how I would approach those people that they don't know me. So it's kind of like I have to introduce myself. I don't know them.
It's as simple as, hi, my name is Marion. Whomever the person is, shared your information with me because they thought you would find value in getting some marketing updates around real estate, and then break into the conversation from there.
Yeah. And also I feel like it will be kind of, because I have my newsletters and I have all those emails. So I don't know why I'm hesitating to include them on my newsletter.
Because you don't have permission yet.
Exactly. So I have to ask permission first, right? Because I
That's
don't
what's
want
stopping you from doing it. So that's what I would do. I would pick up the phone, make 10, 15, 20 calls and say, hey, we're connected because of this person. He thought you would have great opportunity to learn about the real estate market. Would it be okay if I sent you?
Okay.
And just make it as simple as that.
Okay.
Don't overthink it. You're overthinking it.
Thank you, Tiffany.
You're welcome. What else? What else are we hearing?
Also, that's a limiting belief that people don't want to hear from you. If you start your day with that, that's all you're going to hear is people don't want to hear from me. Start your day with someone you love to talk to. If that's not your mom, don't call your mom. If it's me or Tiff, give us a ring. Start your day with someone who's always going to give you 5 minutes of positivity. It's so important. I'm sorry, we don't call Doris first thing in the morning because she's going to tell me about the obituaries, what's going on in the world news because I don't pay attention, and all the crap in my family. So that's an end of day thing. And I'm going to start my day with somebody who brings value into my world. I'm going to bring value into theirs. And it's going to set the tone for my calls. If you go into each conversation in lead gen is relationship building. So if you can put that in your head, and not every phone call has to be about real estate. I know that's controversial, but if you're not putting deposits into the value bank for them, you're not going to be able to make the withdrawal when you do have the real estate ask. So how are you bringing value? And don't assume you know what's valuable. So once you have permission, don't be like, ooh, I'm not going to send them this. I know they love dogs. Maybe they already know about this upcoming thing with dogs. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. They will guide you. And by getting into a relationship, you'll figure out what's valuable to them instead of assuming, because assuming is going to be a chaos path for you. Just Do it. Rip the Band-Aid off. I don't think she's on this call today. She's not. We had an agent that was petrified to send the promote my app. Guess what? Select all sent it right in front of her and she almost passed out. But guess what? She got 13 responses and 2 people under contract right now. But don't assume you know what's going on in people's lives or what they find valuable. Just send it. Just do it.
Yeah, stop
Soapbox,
putting your
sorry,
limiting
soapbox.
beliefs on other humans. You're 100% right. Putting your limiting beliefs on other humans is absolutely a problem.
It's also how people's signs end up in yards of people you think you're cultivating. So if a sign ends up in your neighbor's yard, we didn't do our job. If it ends up in your aunt's, somebody else's sign in your aunt's yard, we didn't do our job. Don't assume, take away that limiting belief, and always bring so much value and care to the relationship. It's, if you haven't figured out, it's what the growth call social media posts are supposed to do on Mondays that we give you. It's
That's what I was
to
gonna
help.
say. That was my segue. Like, we're done with the one thing. Now it's time to go join at 2:00 on Mondays. And this Monday coming up is going to be very special.
Should we
So
give them a teaser? Should we give them a teaser? Like, no, should we? Should we?
no, we shouldn't.
Okay. There is
No.
there's big stuff coming. Big
Yes.
stuff. Big
So-
stuff. I just plopped the link for the growth call. If you register with one, it reminds you every week to go. If you can't go, it's recorded. You still provided. All agents get an email with the growth call stuff. So check it out. Karina and she learned today how to deploy it in 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
How many
And 5 minutes. And that was taking too long because I was putzing around with her and her computer and it was taking longer than it needed to be. 5 minutes.
All right, my friends, I've enjoyed the last 6, 7, 8 weeks. I don't know what it's been.
I know. What day is today?
And we will see you on Monday. Enjoy your December.
I know. It's December.
December.
And it's the countdown to 2023. So make it happen.
It is. It's the final countdown. You heard that, David. David's laughing because I know he heard it.
All right, guys. See you later.
Bye, guys.
Have an amazing day. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.